Hi. Welcome to the first live coverage in Nelson of the municipal elections. I'm Heather Hutchinson. This is Nelson Becker and Gerald Rotering. We're going to begin this evening with a brief intro to Marianne Bond, who's going to be giving us up-to-the-minute live election coverage report from Central School. Hi, Marianne. Can you hear me there? Yeah, she's giving me a big hi. She's
How are
giving
you?
great.
Good.
Great.
Oh, is it ever dark there? Is that
Good.
So, actually, how long are you mayor until?
Well, the new council will swear in on the evening of Monday, December the 3rd. So at the moment of swearing in of the new, I will be the old.
Okay. And now you could do all kinds of wild and exciting things at this point in time.
Well, it's as of this evening, I will officially be lame duck, and we'll waddle our way to the finish line in 2 weeks. And after that, I look forward to going home some evenings of the week and rediscovering my family life.
I'll bet. It's been a very, a long term for you, actually. I'll just get this question out of the way right away. Are there plans for the future?
Well, Heather, the most important thing for me is to recover from 5 years of hard work. It's a lot of late evenings. There have been a lot of social events. I've enjoyed it all.
Mm-hmm.
But after 5 years, I can tell the person who will be elected this evening that the mayor's job can be very tiring, and it really makes home life impossible for a number of years. So I'm going to enjoy discovering the kids and the wife, and just at the close of a business day to go home. I'll do that for probably a half a year.
Oh, that's great. Will you be able to take a holiday?
Well, a vacation over Christmas, yes. Some of the kids are coming home and look forward
wonderful.
to some time off at Christmas.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I wanted to ask you, since you became mayor, has the role of the mayor changed, do you think, over this time?
That's a good question, Nelson. Well, whether the role has changed and whether the new mayor chooses to maintain it is another question, but I believe that I did perform the job of mayor different from predecessors. As I called it, I called myself a mayoral economic development officer. And I ran on that platform, and I told people that my election, I wanted to be perceived as a mandate for very dramatic economic initiatives at City Hall. And on re-election, uncontested 3 years ago, I figured we had a continued mandate for that. And I believe if you look back, you'll see that that's really what I did. I took on the mantle of a mandate to take economic development initiatives.
And the amount of time, I noticed the figures of what the mayor gets paid, got paid when you first started to be mayor. I think it was $12,000 a year, which is not very much money. I think you could make more on welfare or UIC. They probably didn't expect that the mayor would be a full-time position, at that kind of salary level. Is that changed now also? Do you feel that the mayor is a full-time position?
Well, the way I put it, Nelson, is that in Nelson, the mayor's job need not be full-time. But if you are going to take on the job of full economic development and taking advantage and pursuing every opportunity, then yes, you certainly can do the job full-time. Realize that there's a lot of people in a community that work very hard and even full-time as volunteers, and they're paid nothing.
Yes.
And in City Hall, you deal with them a lot, and you realize how many people are working hard in a community like Nelson to make it a community rather than just a place.
Yes.
And you don't feel bad working for a subsistence wage, and there's simply a lot of social and community and emotional reward to doing the job. Yes, it was financially difficult, no question about it, and I think we should be willing to pay more to receive the proper service from a mayor. Mind you, you never know what service you might receive.
Right. Is there something that you were particularly proud of doing? I mean, in particular, that you can look back on your years and say, I'm really happy for the community that this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, Heather, I think I can. We've done a lot of things, and some of them are very financial. I mean, we did accomplish a provincial subsidy for the Nelson Municipal Police Force, equivalent to the federal subsidy for RCMP police municipalities, and that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to the city.
Yeah.
I can be proud of that. I did finally, with the cooperation at the provincial government level of Howard Dirks, accomplish what the city had basically previously given up on, which was an additional water license on the Kootenai River, which we figured had been taken from us by Hydro with the construction of the canal. That's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars cash per year in perpetuity. I'll be honest, if I could have gotten 1 year of that, I'd be a wealthy man. It's very lucrative, but those things are not what I'm most proud of. If I look for one symbol, if you want to say one thing that personifies my term, I would say it's the development of the Capitol Theatre.
Is that right? More than movies coming to this town, more than the BC Winter Games. And why do you say the Capitol Theatre?
Well, because it's symbolic of the heart of the community, of the cultural richness that we have here, of the importance of where we live and who we are, of the quality of entertainment we want to provide by ourselves, for ourselves, in domestic entertainment, like Nelson Little Theatre, for example, and the type of world caliber entertainment that we want to bring in, such as the Vancouver Choral Society singers of a few weeks ago. And also it personifies our historical roots, and we wouldn't let it die, and we rebuilt it from ashes. It's a statement.
No, I believe so. I mean, I'm fairly new to this community, only a couple of years, and I must admit that, you know, part of the reason I came here was because it's a beautiful place to live. I always felt drawn to this area, and when I saw the Capitol Theatre, I said, this community is something more than a beautiful environment and friendly people. Yeah, for me, it symbolized the kind of people that would be living here, the people with creative imagination.
And I guess that in order to get the Capitol Theatre happening, a lot of people had to work together who would not necessarily vote in the same way, you know, come election day, but everybody had to pull together to get that happen, to happen.
Absolutely. You know, there's a new phrase in economic development about the business of culture. And I think internationally now it's recognized that culture can be good business sense. To invest in culture, to bring art into the community, or to develop a community's own art can be very good business. Ask the restaurateurs downtown.
Right, yeah.
Ask the bars what happens after the theater gets out. It's very impressive. The Capitol Theatre alone, I believe, will pay for itself very, very quickly. It was a municipal investment, but we used it, of course, as a multiplier to get provincial funding, and there was a lot of domestic fundraising in the community, so the community was very involved. But it's not just art for art's sake. It's art also as an aspect of economic development and a symbol of a more diversified economy than just mill workers going home or just drinking beer for entertainment. There's a lot more happening here now.
Right.
We've really developed a post-industrial economy.
I'm just going to change subject a little bit. I would like to know, during before you became mayor, you had your vision on what that might entail and what that might be, and how much work that would take. And of course, some of those predictions that you made for your own self were accurate and correct, and others you probably were surprised. Can you tell me something that surprised you about being mayor in that job?
Well, Nelson, the reality of 1985, when I ran for mayor, was very, very harsh. As you'll know, our economy was in very bad trouble. There was a lot of unemployment. And at that time, we had a sense of desperation for action. We needed leadership. We needed action. We needed to take initiatives. And our first initiatives failed. I mean, the first thing I tried to do was reestablish a lumbering industry in Nelson. We worked very hard on that. We worked with the Ministry of Forests, with the ministers themselves. We worked very, very hard, and we failed to reestablish a lumbering industry in Nelson. But beyond that, what surprised me was the degree of success and the speed with which we could develop a different economy. Now they
An
tend...
arts-based, you mean?
No, not
Or
essentially
lumber-based.
non-resource based.
Non-resource based.
Yeah.
Exactly, because the arts alone don't make an economy. They make one brick in a structure of economy. You could list home-based business. You could list heavy-duty manufacturing, such as KMC does with forestry skidders. You can mention electronics. There's just a lot of things going on, and you need them all. The diversity is the key to strength in the future.
And are we about to get a...
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut this a bit short soon. Doug Ormond is waiting at Central School to give us a quick interview. He's the Deputy Returning Officer. I'm just going to close this part off here by just thanking Gerald Rotering for coming. Good luck to you in your future life. Thank you very much for all the input you've put into this community. I've seen the growth myself. You walk down Baker Street on a Friday afternoon or any other, and it's bustling. This is a bustling, prosperous community, and you put a lot of work into it, and all the people who have been on council, and all the volunteers in the community, and just thank you very, very much for all your hard work.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Nelson.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thanks for visiting. Now we'll go live to Central School, to Marianne and Doug Ormond for a brief report on the polls since they've closed at 8 o'clock.
Hello, Marianne.
Thanks, Heather. As you said, we're live here at Central School. I don't know if you can see in the background, the polling clerks and returning officers are busy getting ready to start counting. With me is City Administrator Doug Ormond, and Doug's going to give us a brief update on the activities here today.
Well, Marianne, it's been a very busy day, comparatively speaking to past years. I think we've had well over 50% vote turnout this year. It's been steady all day. That's the way we like it because it makes the time go very fast.
No doubt.
But it'll be a long night for counting, but that's the name of the game.
When do you expect Doug will get some numbers coming in?
Well, everybody's just getting ready now. They're breaking down the tables and setting up and getting the counters in place. So it's probably going to be another 20 minutes or so before we start counting. And we probably won't get some figures to get some numbers to you by until about between 9 and 9:30 at the earliest.
Okay. Thank you, Doug. We'll try and get Janet Postlethwaite, the returning officer, up here a little bit later, and as soon as we have some numbers, we'll be back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Marianne.